Hey, what's going on? This is Taj, and this is Board of Directors on RIV. I am here with some amazing directors, very, very creative, and we're going to start over here.
Yo, what's good? It's Arrad. Recently just directed Chris Brown and Decided video, Tyga, Nicki Minaj dip video, bunch of other cool stuff. Been in the game for about, I'd say like 7-8 years, but things recently started getting super crazy the past couple of years. So, yeah, man.
Super crazy.
Super crazy.
Super crazy.
Appreciate y'all being here.
Hey, what's going on, man? Director Eif Rivera, straight out of New York. Been directing probably 8-9 years now. You might know my work from I Like It Like That, Cardi B, amongst other ones.
This is Ethan Later, and been in the game for a minute, and directed videos from Bruno Mars, Just the Way You Are, Mariah Carey, One Republic, Ricky Martin, big span of different genres and different types of artists.
Well, I think we've already introduced me, but I guess this is the part where I talk about what I've done. I am Taj. I'm a director. You might know me by Jennifer Lopez on the Floor, Usher, featuring Nicki Minaj, Lil Freak, Neo, part of the list, and a bunch of other cool things that helped change my life. So good experience. I think we all know that we're all lucky to be here. We all are very fortunate to live creative lives. And let's get into it. We're going to start with these questions. We have a stack of questions here, just so you guys know how the show goes. We're going to go over a lot of these questions, get into it, and have a couple of surprises in between, okay? So we're going to start with, you know what? We're not going to start with any of these. We're going to start with the one that I'll put to the side, which is a question I think we all want to know. Thoughts on royalties for music video directors and their YouTube views. We're going to start with, we're going to go around the table. Bam.
Man, if they gave us a 1 penny for every hit that we get, it's sad, man. I don't know where this is going, or if there's anyone pushing that agenda to try to get us royalty on these things. Something I had spoken to Anthony Mandler about for quite a while, and I mean, it's to a point now where we're generating so many hits, and it's like, how do we get a piece of that? Because it's sad, right? It's like my last 2 videos, one is at 1.2 billion, and the next one I got coming up, that's about to hit 1 billion, and it's like, what do we get? You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I think has to be, somebody has to spearhead this, man, and figure this thing out. And I know that in the past, the DGA and whatnot, the unions wanted to be a part of it. I'm not sure how that affects us, because obviously we don't make enough when we're doing these videos. So it's a great conversation to have.
I think one of the fears too is that, I mean, like what we would have to do in order to do that is all the directors would have to come together, right? And would have to take a stand, right? And that would take like a lot. I mean, like there's directors that want to work, so it would take for some of those younger directors too. It would take for like almost all of us to come together and to be like, look, we're not doing anything until we get this straight, until you guys give us our royalties. What are the chances? What are the chances in that happening? What do you think?
I think, I don't know how to comment on the chances of all of us coming together. I think that there could be ways of organizing, maybe from different budget numbers from here to here. There's certain, this needs to be union, this doesn't. But from what you were saying, I agree. I mean, we're creating, these artists' expressions of who they are and building careers. You're doing someone's first video and it explodes. And I've done a lot of first videos for artists that have become huge careers. And expanding even on that, I've done videos where all of a sudden it becomes a teacher. It becomes an app. And when I'm thinking of ideas, I'm thinking conceptually. I'm thinking how you can maximize on this opportunity in this event. So they're not taking our ideas because they're hiring us. I mean, it's a work for hire. It's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration. So why can't we collab on that check?
Yeah. Why when they're getting millions and billions of views, why aren't we getting a penny?
Right.
I mean, and we're creating these brands for these artists, and we're working together. It's too lopsided right now.
And to his point, one of the things that I noticed recently, and it kind of pissed me off, was, so I did the Cardi B, I Like It, and all of a sudden you see a Pepsi commercial, right? And it's Cardi B walking in the same way as the song is playing. So it's like, not only are we not getting paid for it, but they're also stealing our ideas and what we create.
1 to 10, how heated were you?
Man, I was heated. It's heated. 12.
12.
You know what I'm saying? It's
12
like,
on the heated meter.
It's like, how do we, we're creating this stuff.
Right? I had an interesting situation because it was the flip side. I did a video called Good Life for One Republic, and everyone's holding boards and these images are happening on there. And Disney used the song for their campaign for the year and then hit me up because they wanted the commercials to match the video. So it's one of those, I think, rare occasions, because I hear you. I mean, that's your vision. You created this. Right. Big corporation comes in and they're just like, oh, that's an decision I hear. Just run with it. It was interesting for me because I was able to parlay the music video into a commercial campaign, which kept building with Disney and Dick Clark and stuff like that. So I've also seen the flip side of where a music video that was a modest budget really opened the doors for me in relationships and other income. But I do think it's a rarity. And I do think when you see a lot of music or commercials and films that are inspired by what we're doing, it's like, go to the source.
Right.
That's who's going to do it best.
Right. You talked way too much, man. You talk way too much.
No, I think you guys, I agree with all you guys. Directors are no different than like a music producer. I mean, obviously it's we have different roles, but if a producer's getting a check plus royalties, why can't a director? It's like the same concept. We're just as involved with the inception of the song and how hot it is and how much it could blow up. So I agree. I think it should be considered. And also another thing is, you guys mentioned like getting together. Problem is a lot of people are going to get together. A lot of people are like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do this because it's an opportunity for me. I don't care about percentage. Let me just hop in here. I don't care if I make a couple $100, whatever. Let me just do it because I want to get my foot in the door. So that's a problem. There's so many kids right now who are like just trying to get in. They don't care. And then there's obviously like the OGs who are like, yo, like, well, I'm going to just keep making these flat rates for the rest of my life.
Right. Well, you pay for what you get. So, facts. What made you fall in love with being a director? Let's smooth it out. Get on a happy side. What made you fall in love with being a director?
I don't know. This is gonna sound so cliche. I didn't think about this question, but like, just bringing images to life. I think just being a kid and like seeing films and stuff, and just not really knowing like how you could literally make any idea you have, for the most part. I mean, if the money's right, you can pretty much bring it to life. Like anything you want to do, like going to space or whatever. So,
have you ever flown a magic carpet?
I'm ready, bro.
I was just wondering. I was like, flying a magic carpet. I dig it. What about you?
I think for me, it was just being on set, man. I grew up with Fat Joe, who's like my brother, and I remember those guys just doing all these videos, man, with Kevin Hart and all these guys, Chris Robinson shooting, And I always thought, man, that was some cool shit, man. I was always behind the scenes, and one day I just took a stab at it, man. I ended up shooting a video for Joe, and that led to him getting like a couple of million views, which he never had, like in a matter of like 2 or 3 days. And after that, like during that week, I got a call from Dr. Dre, and that's how, I ended up in this whole cycle with in the whole hip hop music industry, shooting videos.
I want to dig a little bit deeper into your career because you kind of like blew up out of nowhere. I remember just seeing like your name. It kind of seems like we all blow up out of nowhere as music videos, right? But your name came out of nowhere. It's like boom. And I just kept seeing it everywhere. And I think we had even talked a couple of times over like social media and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh yeah, I can see it right now. Like he's going through it. They're attacking him. They're coming after him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what was that moment that you felt like, okay, I think I'm here. I'm here to stay?
I think probably now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think people took notice of me. It's like 2 videos dropped in 1 week, and I think it was French Montana with Nicki Minaj, the Freaks video, and then it was 50 Cent and Kendrick Lamar. French is a neighborhood friend. Puff is the one that was like, give him a shot. So shout out to Puff for that. And the other one was 50, where he's the homie. He's my brother, and he actually got me my first real video with Interscope. Like he told Interscope, like, I'm not shooting a video with anyone unless it's him. So he put his foot down, and there's a few artists like that, you get a lot of artists that say, oh, you shoot my video, I got you. And all of a sudden you got labels and reps sending you the record, say, hey, write to this. And you're like, who else is writing to? Like 10 other people.
You feel like you feel like the labels are just kind of testing you because like when they get when they get like that kind of like when they get told that, like, you know, I'm not shooting a video unless it's with this kid. Do you think the labels was kind of like, was there any commissioners? You don't gotta say their names, kind of pushing you like, yeah. So like, what's so special about you? Did you ever feel like that?
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
for sure. I think they was because I was new, I was raw and everything else. I didn't understand the process of the commissioners and all this shit. And, you know, I started hearing, you know, hey, this person's pissed, that person's pissed. And I came in with the I don't give a fuck attitude. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm here to make money. I'm
fuck
shooting.
Attitude.
And but as you grow in the business, you understand, you meet people, you meet friends, right? You meet other directors and the struggles and what people go through, and you're like, all right, cool, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? And you basically follow the process, man. You know, everybody wants to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the bottom line. It's like, can't do everything by yourself. And I learned that, you know, and you know, it's a cool thing, man. You know, it's good for the heart, you know.
What?
What was it? What got me into directing, really?
What made you fall in love with it?
Made me fall in love with it. My mom had a book when I was real young that said, like, write your name, and I wrote it out. And how old are you?
Before you start, I wanted to let you know I knew you were going to start with something that was going to be very emotional.
Yeah, that's
getting to know you.
My stuff is always very emotional, very conceptual, very visual. Yes. I go back that far, and that's my mom on me telling me this story. I don't remember when I was 9 but she told me.
I'm getting to know y'all real quick.
So it said my name, said my age was 9, and I said I wanted to be a director, and I spelled it wrong. And I've always been into the arts, and my mom is a social worker, so I get that emotional side. My dad's a financial advisor, so I get that business side. And when I watched E.T. when I was a kid with my grandpa in the theater and bawled my eyes out, I was also able to acknowledge how that made me feel, and I wanted to make other people feel that way through my art. So I was painting and I was drawing or whatever, but to make an expression of a film, to tell this story and for people to emotionally respond to it is what got me hooked. Yeah, I think connecting, learning in a creative way and opening your eyes and empathy when you're least expecting it to, and presenting something in a way that it can be on a universal platform, but it might be something that you've never even put a pinky into before. And then music videos specifically was, you know, I remember when David Fincher and Spike Jonze and Chris Cunningham were all making the transition from music videos to features. And like there was a really dip into the music video pool. And for me, it was always that narrative. So that was really got me, all right, let's build a reel with music videos. Let's go out to LA and let's have something to show for itself. And this is a way that I can make money and build my reel and build myself, my brand and my craft.
Right. I personally, you know what? That's rude because I'm hosting it. Why don't you go? And then I'll say how I feel. Okay. So I personally just wanted to see my images move. I started as a photographer, and I felt like I had witnessed a lot of things growing up in the Bay Area. It's a very, I guess, artistic place. Like everyone, it's the land of like what they call the independent hustle. So everybody's doing their own thing. And I've never had a problem like talking to people I don't know. I don't even like to call them strangers. Nothing strange about it to me. And so over the years, I was like told a lot of stories, learned a lot. And I realized that I wanted to make, my images come to life. I wanted them to move. And I wanted to tell some of these stories that I've heard and some of the things that I've been through personally. And I realized I was like, I have a world of treatments in front of me. So I've always been attracted to narratives. And I just decided like, you know what, music videos is a great place to start before I roll over into feature film. So that's what made me fall in love with it, was the opportunity to tell others' stories without putting them on blast, and telling my own stories, sometimes without putting myself on blast. And then moving forward, just to see where this will go. I love the journey. I've always respected the journey and understood that it's not about the destination, because we don't know what that destination is what it's going to be in the end, but it's about the journey. So I fell in love with that. What about you?
You know what's great about it is you can like live lifestyles that you don't actually have. Because I started really young, like out of high school. So my first few videos, they were like a couple low budget things. I did a couple things that were like a little bit more grand. And a kid out of high school, like I was like at places. One day I was like in the hood with like a bunch of thugs or whatever. The next day I was like a dope mansion with like 100 girls, a nice whip. So for me, like it was also like really like I got to see different worlds and really live like lifestyles that were totally different than mine. So that was actually really cool too, especially because in my hometown, like it's a very conservative town. So everybody lived really differently than me, especially because like I was one of the few minorities there. And so I don't know, just seeing something totally different from like what I was used to was really dope. And I think that's what really got me hooked.
On set, what do they say about that wave in your hair?
Oh
That's
man,
it's like pretty.
Some people just ride this way, man.
Somebody just ride the wave.
Yeah.
Hey, but speaking of yes sets, man, when do we get invited to yes sets? Yes sets be looking fun, man. Like yes sets look fun. They look very, very private and very like, you know what I'm saying, like no one invited, but they look like a lot of fun. And I'd be looking at your sets. I'm like, I'm at home. I'm like, I wasn't doing anything on that day. And I just want to know, like, can we ever get invites? I know we're directors and stuff, but you're shooting it, so there's no ideas to steal. You're already shooting it. Can we be invited? This is an on blast question.
Everyone's invited, man.
Okay.
My world is always open, man. You know, and you know, it's Andrew. You know, like always you hit me up, come through. You know, yeah, man. I mean, yeah. Listen, when I'm here. And let me tell you something. It's fun because a lot of times it has to be fun, man. Like doing music videos, it's your love, your passion, and I try to make sure that everybody's enjoying themselves, man. As long as you're doing your job, but let's have fun while we're doing it. At the end of the day, it's like, what's the argument going to get you?
Yeah, I saw the 50 and Chris video. I heard that it was going on the day that you were shooting or the night you were shooting, and I looked at my phone. I was like, hey, if he hit me, he ain't got my number. Maybe I should that's why I didn't get invited. That's all it is.
Those videos, man, something like that with 50, they just happen like random, man.
I got you. I'll be there for one of the random ones. Craziest, most riskiest shot you've gotten. While you're thinking about that, I got one. I think I said, did I say this on the last one? Andrew, forgive me if I said this on the last one. I think the riskiest shot I've ever had when I was hanging out of a helicopter. So I was hanging out of a helicopter. I did say this one last time, didn't I? Everyone's shaking their head, yes. All right, okay. Well, we'll tell it again. It was still the riskiest shot I've ever had. I was hanging out of a helicopter, and Swiss Beats is hanging out of a helicopter. We're in the south of France, and he takes his seatbelt off. I literally think that he is crazy. I don't think he's one of the people that pretends to be crazy. I think he's really actually crazy. And then to get the shot, my lens wasn't long enough, and I was trying to get like this close up, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, take your seatbelt off, bro. But that's how he said it while he's hanging out of a helicopter. Like, it was like not a big deal. He's like, take your seatbelt off. So I take my seatbelt off, and I'm getting closer. And I'm like, if he falls out of this helicopter, I'm gonna be the one that kills Swiss Beats, because in this industry that we're in, the rumors go crazy. It's gonna be like Taj pushed him out. Taj is a risky director. He kicked him. You know what I'm saying? Like Swizz and Taj were in an argument, and then my career is over, and probably my life. Who knows, right?
Was he strapped though? Like, was he like?
No. He took his seatbelt off, and he was hanging. He was just holding on to the side of the
he
helicopter.
Wasn't
no,
harness?
Man. No, and he was not intoxicated or anything like that. He's a very focused person. So he was focused on being crazy. And I was just so happy the shot was over. They're like, you want to look at the footage? I was like, no. Because if we agree that we didn't get it, was he going to do it again? I was like, no, I don't want to see it. We got it. So so that was it. What about you?
I need to think about this. I don't know. I don't have like a crazy experience. I don't think. I might have one. But I guess just shooting in like places that I'm probably shouldn't be in again. Like I said, like being in the hood. Like I got permission from a couple dudes. Like, yeah, you're good, man. We got you. Everybody's cool within the neighborhood down the block. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come through. And then turns out it's a whole commotion. Police show up. People are circling helicopters.
And then where's your boy at, right?
My boy's there, but then one of his homies runs off. He's like, yo, I'm on probation. Fucking just runs away. What the fuck? I get arrested. Like this whole thing's crazy. And apparently like there's some crazy shit going on down there. And like, they're like, yo, you could have gotten killed, whatever. I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just here to make a dope video, but that I don't know. I don't have anything like crazy like you. Like you're like hanging out of a helicopter. Like that's a good story, I need to do more crazy shit. Let's add some crazy.
I need to do another crazy one too, so I have to tell that story again. Can we get that question again? I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have to make up something next time. What about you? I know you got one.
For me, it's probably the craziest moments. So, I did get the strap with 50 Cent and Tekashi and Uncle Murda and Casanova, and it was all over the news. We had gotten shot up. And literally, that was probably the first time, I heard gunshots before, but it was probably the first time, man, I'm standing there and you actually hear them whizzing by you. They're like, and
How is this story not crazier than my story?
you know, and I remember just, man, dropping to the ground, man, and 50 dropping the ground, and Tekashi, everybody's on the ground, man, and just some random shooter came by, you know. He attracts that shit, you know, and you know, that's the danger. That was one of the craziest. Second, I have two of them, right? Another one, I'm not gonna mention the artist, DJ Khaled, but we had an incident that I'm not sure if, you know, it was never made public. I'll say it here now. But literally, we had animals on the set. This is why I hate shooting with animals.
What kind of animals?
Tigers.
Okay, because this is not cats and dogs, people. This is
it's like a real tiger. And one of the handlers kept striking the tiger because he wanted it to, right, swing the paw so that we capture it, and you know, and then kind of comp it, and you see the tiger doing this shit, right? And I was like, man, what is she doing? What is she, like, leave that shit alone, right? He was getting agitated, right? Sure enough, man, she turns around and the tiger goes after her, bites her leg, drags her, goes for her neck. This is all like, everyone's like, oh shit, we're all going to jail. And man, it's the crazy shit. No, it's crazy shit.
What?
We had you know, we had security there that was gonna, you know, obviously pop him. The tiger went for the neck, right? And it was like, no, literally like crawling on her and dragging her in. And another handler was able to get him off, but her leg was pretty much shredded, and you could see her bone and stuff, and they got her out of there.
See her bone.
Yeah, no,
She was a girl, a model in the video.
No, she was a handler.
She was a handler.
handlers. Yeah, the tiger knew her. And,
Oh,
you
the
know,
tiger
she
knew her.
worked-
Well, he didn't know her that well.
Yeah, exactly. He was fed up, but that was
Must have been
probably
day two. Day
Yeah.
2 on Tiger Patrol.
yeah,
Okay.
that was some shit.
Hot in this motherfucker. All right. So, what's the lowest, highest budget you've ever worked with?
Bro, lowest is negative. Lowest budget's like when you're starting out and you're investing money. Like, I'm still owed money from projects from like 8 years ago, but I'm not gonna ask for it. You know what I mean?
I think you just did.
I'm not gonna say names, but yeah, I mean, you know, that's probably lowest. When you're starting out and you're investing, even like when you're doing videos for free, you still bought the camera, you're still investing time, and time is money at the end of the day. And then, you know, highest, I don't know, I don't really know, because, you know, I've had a lot of shoots that have like overages and artist costs and stuff, maybe like, I don't know, $500,000 or something like that. So I don't know. It's just been so variable. It just changes all the time. So, you know.
Man, I agree with him. Free 99. That was the starting point. Just getting an opportunity, right? Sometimes you gotta let me shoot it. You don't worry about the pay. And the highest for me was on a commercial I did for Bud Light. That was $2 million. So that was, you know, pretty cool.
You see
nice check.
You see royalties on commercials or no? Was that actors?
I don't think so. No.
Actors maybe?
No.
It is actors?
You don't, yeah. It's like you get like a bio.
Bro, we gotta start this coalition.
It's a great check. That was probably, I was like, man, I'm glad I got into the business when I saw that check, man. I was like,
bro, tell us how you got in. I need to know. We all need to know. The viewers.
It was how did I get into that one? I joined an agency. It was a commercial agency, and you know, they have figured I'm the new guy, and you know, it's gonna take a while. You got to build you up, just like you would with music videos. So they probably expected me to do like, you know, viral commercials, you know, little pop-up screens on YouTube, right? That comes on the videos. And I get the call. They're like, yo, man, like you got the president of Anheuser-Busch wants to sit with you and talk about this thing. And the budget was $2 million. They were like blown away, man. And I was blown away. I was like, man, this is nuts. But it was, I think, 3 other directors. I'm not going to mention their names because they didn't get to work, you know, and
they know their names.
Yeah, they know their names. But no, I mean, it was an experience, man. It was something that, you know, when you have the money, man, you're just able to do all kind of cool shit, you know. And but I think not having money and still doing cool shit is even better. you know, because you just learn a lot of shit, man. And you just, you know, for me, everything's always been self-taught. You know, I started off with a DSLR, you know what I'm saying? I come from that era. Taught myself, you know, I come from an art background, so I was always an artist, drawing comic books and paintings and shit like that, which I'm dying to get back into if I can find the time, probably when I'm 90.
Good problem to have. Good problem to have.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I learned, you know, self-taught, taught myself how to edit. And, you know, I'm on a journey, man. I'm on an amazing journey.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah.
We're enjoying it. We're enjoying
you,
playing witness to it. It's been
yeah,
good.
man. You know, my thing is, you know, share the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Share the knowledge, man. You know, I'm going through something right now that's just amazing. And it's been about 9 months now. And it's a feature film thing. And it's tough. It's tough, man. It's, you know, they put you through the ringer. And I don't want to go off topic with that, but, you know, it's sometimes we as music video directors make bad choices, you know, and it affects everyone else.
Every choice I've made has been perfect. I don't know what I was talking about.
But, you know, it's so the feature space is, it's tough for us to get into,
right.
You know, we don't have the best of reputations when it comes to that. So, you know, that's just stuff that I'm going through now that I want to pass on, you know, just like what we're doing here today, you know?
I think in terms of lowest music video, there's definitely times where I was piggybacking jobs that were more creative maybe on other jobs earlier on in my career because it was a small little indie video that you could do.
Bold statement.
Yeah. Indie on indie, though. No major on indie. But yeah, it's true. I remember, I did a video, and I had some interesting situations with indie videos. I did a video for $6,000 with Kids in the Hall that was on TRL.
Okay.
And they're independent. Like, never heard of that. They went in, met the people of the show, made a great impression, and it was before Britney and something else during that time. I remember doing a video for Rob Roy, and it was like $1,500. We piggybacked it, and after that, because we could do something really bugged out and weird, and Kanye, who never posted anything on his blog, that was the epitome of, posted the video on his blog, which was huge for me and the artist. When you go to the larger scale, I think the commercial that I did for Disney is definitely the biggest budget, which is kind of the same as you were talking about in the 2 range. But then there's projects like, you know, you do a video for Mariah Carey and you're looking in the $500,000, but if you want to include all her glam and everything else, how much was that budget? You know, that's always an interesting conversation in terms of what your industry percentage rate is as a director for which budget, the overall budget, your production budget. Are you signed to the production company? Do you own the production company? Is her glam being separate? So when we look at, you know, the scope of what the budget is and what you're making money off of and what you worked on, you could easily be like, probably yours, $1 million. Yeah, Mariah's probably spending $300 just on her glam that we don't necessarily maybe see. And you totally understand why she has those talented people around her. And I get that. But in terms of from a director's standpoint, you're like, what is my budget and how big has it been? And, you know, your points and your percentages and things like that, which I think is, this is maybe a little off topic, which I think is interesting about all of us is that all of us, I think at one time or another, were signed to an official production company. And I've been through like even the heyday of the big fucking offices and stuff. And then we've all, I believe, owned our production company or really take a strong control of our careers, which is from all different genres, for all different approaches. We all have that same mentality of like, I'm building something as a director, but I also want to be in control of what's going on creatively, relationship-wise, my funds. You know what I mean? That's important to keep longevity in this game.
I've always been very attracted to your work too. It's always like very emotional. You know, you just have really, really good work, man. Like
Thanks,
your
man.
visuals always let us know how you feel. And I want to let you know that I appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
Definitely
I appreciate that.
You've
Thanks.
definitely been a positive in this game. So thank you.
Thanks, man.
I think I answered this question last time. I don't want to be repetitive. I plan on being here for a while. So I'm just going to move on and I'm going to say, what I'm going to ask, what's the most epic shoot you've had to date? And when I say, I want to do this. I don't want to look at this like in the past, right? Let's do something a little bit different. Let's talk about it like as if it was in the present. So speak about it as in the present, like take us through that epic shoot, right? And try to do it all within 60 seconds.
All right, some warrior shit. So I'm super sick. I have strep throat. I'm like dying. I can't do anything. I got the shoot coming up. I get a call from Tyga. He's like, yo, I want to shoot this video. It's called Dip. Let's go. I want to shoot in like a few days. I got to put it out before Halloween. And this was like a week, like less than a week before Halloween. He's like, yo, I'm getting Nicki on the track. Track is dope. You know, I met with him. We talked about it. Like, all right, let's go. Let's shoot it. Mind you, I'm sick as fuck. Like I'm dead. Like I'm about to die, right? And I'm getting worse as like the shoot date's approaching. And I didn't know what I had. I thought it was just like a cold or something. So I'm like loading up on vitamin C, whatever. And I'm going through it. We get the whole production squad out. The whole concept is crazy because like they're flying, like they're on harnesses. And I don't think Nicki Minaj has ever been in a harness. And we never ended up actually doing it. But anyways, we were planning like, yo, we're going to make these people fly. It's going to be crazy, whatever. We have a whole art team come in. They build this crazy set in like less than 48 hours. So there's so many obstacles, right? We couldn't find a stage that was available because it was so loud. It was like 48 hours. We're like, yo, we need a stage. We need enough space to build these art sets. We need to bring in this crew to bring in and harness them, whatever. So we're trying to do all this so fast. And like, you know, when you're like, you guys can all relate, like when you have a shoot coming up and like it's so time sensitive, like that's all you think about, you know, like I couldn't stop thinking about it. At the same time, I'm literally like really in bad health. Like I'm dying. We get to the set and I'm, you know, it's a day of, we're shooting, we get going. Everybody's running late, of course.
How late? 2 hours, 3 hours?
I'm not going to say who, but one artist showed up a few hours late. The other artist showed up like 11 hours late.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
So, you know, like it is, you know, it is. The shoot was like 24 plus hours. It's like, and at that point, you know, we're going through it. You know, we get what we need basically. And anyways, here's the thing, right? That was just the first half. The first half was pre-pro, right? It's pre-pro.
15 seconds.
Right. All right. Pre-pro shooting. And then I only had like 2 or 3 days to edit, color, and do VFX. And so I'm sick as fuck. I go to the hospital right after the shoot. I'm dying. I go to the ER. I have the team help take care of it in the edit process. We get it done. We cross the finish line. Video comes out. It's a smash.
2, 1.
What'd you have? I was waiting for like you had like
I ended up
polio.
No,
or
I
something.
thought no.
Crazy
There were theories, bro. There were theories. It was like, do you have mono? Do you have
mono? That
you
was
know?
the one I thought.
No, that's why I'm like. But I got tested. I didn't have mono. I was like, I wasn't sick. It wasn't a virus. It turned out it was actually strep throat. It was just bacterial. So like, if you think you have something, just make sure, you know, maybe antibiotics that could help. So, you know what I'm saying?
Most epic, right? 60 seconds, probably the Bud Light commercial I shot. We had to travel to Argentina. We ended up shooting in Uruguay. Casting was done in probably 5 different countries. It was the whole campaign was a surprise. The people that were selected didn't know what was going to happen. And so we had these 2 girls come out, and we actually had we shot it on the beach. They had a lifeguard bench built out and it transformed when the girl stepped on a button. It was are you up for whatever challenge? That was a campaign. And remember we shot that with 36 cameras all hidden, and we had a Huey chopper 10 feet above you come flying in out of nowhere and landing on the beach. And it was crazy because the reason we shot it in Uruguay was because we didn't want to deal with all the restrictions you have here in the States. The chopper had to land on the beach, and all I kept thinking about was like, wow, this thing's gonna land, tilt, and kill 5,000 people on the beach. And but that was probably the most epic, man. Epic and dangerous.
Epic and dangerous is epic.
Yeah.
Dangerous is epic.
I'm trying to think.
You had all this time to think about that.
I mean, for me, it's interesting. I enjoy being in control on set and then also going with the flow of what life gives you. So I never really feel that rattled on set. I'm more like, we knew it was going to be an uphill battle and we're doing it and we're calm and we're working together, and managers come, I'm taking my artist off set. I'm like, cool, let me just look into that for you and look into it in your time. And you know, my favorite person that always comes to mind for me is when I was younger and I did a video for DMX, which I starstruck when I was like, oh shit, it was Busy Bone and X, and he showed up on set. I was told so many things and you never know what you're gonna get. And he shows up and he goes, how long am I gonna be here for? And I was like,
Is
dude,
that your DMX impression?
that's my.
Come on,
I could go real into
Go
it.
deep.
Oh,
Go
it'll
DMX.
come.
Yo,
So he
dog,
said,
you got the yo, dog. Yeah.
So he's got, a little bit of stubble. He's like, I got to get a haircut. I was like, if you know the lyrics, because he's featured on the song, I go, if you know the lyrics, I'll get you in and out of here in an hour. I go, otherwise we could be here all night. All right, dog, I got you. He goes and does his thing. We set up a whole row of sandbags because they're passing a bottle of like brandy back and forth, getting toasted. And we have all our lights, so we have the sandbags so they just know not to pass that, stay in your light. I tell my cameraman, be on it. I don't want X waiting for us. We do a prayer. I'm holding Busy's hand. X is there. Lord, thank you. And I'm like looking up like, fuck, X is doing a prayer. And we're like about to shoot. We're shooting. I'm ready to go. And I can't find X. And you look over and he's smoking a cigarette. And I'm younger at this point. I'm like early mid-20s. And I'm like, X, I'm ready to shoot. I'm ready to shoot. And in front of everybody, and I was kind of self-conscious. He goes, this man does not understand the importance of a cigarette break. And I was like, all right, man, we'll be here all night. Fuck that, let's shoot, let's go. And I'm like, all right, man, let's fucking go. And I was just, that to feel X's energy and to be with someone that you knew you vibed with well, and just, even though you spent a short amount of time together, but to follow, and this is right, like, X is like, he was more like the Phoenix, Arizona times, but to me, X is always amazing. And like, same thing we were talking about, empathy, feeling his passion, to be working with him and have that moment of kind of back and forth bullshit, to me, I love.
All right. Well, I'm trying to give y'all two in 60 seconds. One, as I was in Home Depot and I get this phone call and it's like, hey, J-Lo wants to meet you. I was like, cool, set up a meeting. When? They're like, right now. And I was like, I got on overalls. I got paint on me. I'm trying to paint my apartment. I'm like, I can't do that right now. I look crazy. And they're like, no, come right now. You have to come right now if you want this video. So I was like, all right. So I zoomed down there or whatever. I look crazy. And the commissioner's waiting for me outside. She's like, get in the car. I listened to the song for about 1.5 times before she gets a text message that says she's ready. I go upstairs. J-Lo sitting at the end of the table. There's all these people lined up around the end of the table. They're all on laptops. They're all looking at me like, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. And so I got up there and she was like, okay. She goes, you're late. And I'm like, I'm late. How am I late? This wasn't even scheduled. So I was like, all right, whatever, cool. I thought she was trying to rattle me. So I said, you know what? I sat down, then I stood up and I was like, hey, can I walk around while I give my pitch? And she was like, yeah, whatever. So I walk around. As I'm walking around, I learned to get people on my side as I'm pitching stuff. So I'm tapping people like, you know what I mean, don't you? You know, and everybody's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so I getting people into it. And I'm like, and then this happens and that happens. And I'm kind of making it up as I go, but I'm kind of referencing things that I've done before and kind of trying to add this innovative twist to it, remembering who she is and what I've always wanted to do for her as I'm working with her, right? Boom. So I get in, so after it's all done, everyone's quiet, everybody's looking at me or whatever, because they know not to respond until she responds. And she's like, okay, we'll let you know. So I was like, all right, well, I don't know how that went. So as I'm walking out, getting in the elevator, getting in the car, I'm on the freeway on the 101 on my way back home. And I'm talking to my mom on the phone. I get this text message and it's like, you got it. Second story is, yeah, so that worked out really well. Second story is Swizz, I'm on the beach being emotional in my car, sitting there in the car, right, trying to think of some ideas as the water goes back and forth. I get this text message from Swizz and he's like, look, I got to shoot something in Cannes. This is hanging out the helicopter story. I got to shoot something in Cannes and I have to shoot it by Monday, but it's Friday. And I'm like, bruh, how are we going to do that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, send me the song. And he's like, can you do it? And I'm like, yeah, he keeps ignoring, send me the song. He keeps ignoring that. So as the day goes on, I'll go home, I rush home, boom, zoom home real quick, packing my bags, get my producer on the phone. This is what's going on. We're shooting in south of France. He's like, I got a private jet for you, all this other stuff. So I'm like, cool. So I'm getting everything together. And so we get on a commercial flight to New York, then get on a private jet. And he meets us there. And he's like, man, what's up? I'm like, cool. I'm like, hey, man, can I get the song now? And he's just like, man, don't worry about that. Like, just get on the plane, right? So we get on the plane and it's like 6 hours, 7 hours goes by. And I'm like, man, he still ain't gave me the song. I'm getting a little nervous, man. I'm like, yo, man, I really need the song, bro. And he's like, man, don't trip. And he's playing like Marvin Gaye. And I'm like, this is not the song. This is Let's Get It On, bro. I need the song, you know? It goes on and on. And then everyone falls asleep. And right before he goes to sleep, he's like, here's a song. Come up with a treatment. I'm like, bro, the plane's about to land pretty soon, bro. Like, what am I supposed to do? And he likes putting me under pressure situations like that. And he was like, I wouldn't do this. He was like, this is an experience to me. It's not about a music video. This is about life. I wouldn't do this to you if I didn't think you couldn't get it done. And so I ended up using my hotel room. I ended up using one of my boys' hotel room. I ended up using Swizz's suite. I ended up using every resource that I could. I went around and I told everybody in Cannes. Me and my boy went around telling everybody where Swizz, he don't even know this, where Swizz, Chris Brown, and Ludacris were staying. I was like, they're all staying over at the whatever it was, the Martinez. Come there tomorrow morning, and this is going to be the opening shot. We'll see what happens. Man, we came out in the beginning of the video. It's called Everyday Birthday. In the beginning of the video, you see this McLaren coming out, and you see all these people. You think they're extras. Those are all the people that we told to come, and so many people came that they had to barricade it. Like the hotel had to use their security, and we had a camera waiting in the back of the van, and I opened up the door. The van was just sitting there like a FBI van, and the door just opened up, and I was like, action. And it just, and then like, here comes the car, and all these people are like yelling and stuff. And Swizz was like, where you get all the people from? And I was just like, man, I don't know. I guess they just found out where I was staying. I don't know. News travels fast. But we went around telling everybody where they were staying, which is a no-no, but.
Yeah. But it worked out.
It worked out. Okay. So what does it take to be a director? Define the word in itself in your own words. We can go back around this way.
Okay. I feel like filmmaking is one of those arts that you really need a team, and it's such a collaboration. Just personally, I'm not trying to direct, produce, shoot, and light the same thing. You're working with your team. And so I think directing is working with your client, if that's the actual label or company, or the talent, your artist, and understanding what they want to bring across and executing it and listening and not letting your ideas vision lock you to be, because sometimes they'll come with stuff and you're like, I don't really understand it, but I'm going to roll with it. And then all of a sudden it starts to take shape when you're on set. So I think listening, but also having your own vision so that every idea is a possible option and you look through those options, but you also know what your vision is so that you can weed out the things that you're like, nah, that's not going to play. And, oh, you know, I didn't think about that. Let me combine, you know? So for me,
So let go of my ego.
I'm the type of person that I don't care what the hell's going on set. I'm looking at the monitor. I don't care about anything else. And as long as it looks good in that monitor, I know I'm in a great place. My mentor when I was growing up was like, creative is not coming up with the idea. Creative is when shit hits the fan, how do you still pull it off? And keep the integrity of what you're trying to do as well. And I've been on set where the artist doesn't come out and all of a sudden you just, and communicating, you bring over the commission and you're like, here's the situation. Here's the idea we loved. Artist isn't coming out till after lunch. I can be shooting stuff. We have models and all this stuff. It may not be the same idea, but we're going to have a strong video still. We got a great A team here. Let's keep shooting. When she comes out, we'll keep rocking it, but let's work together. Or we can stop and we can try to get what's on the paper, which we're stuck to, which may put us into overtime or this or that. Let's embrace what we're getting rather than try to fight it. And I think that's important that I've learned throughout the years.
I mean, I think you pretty much hit it all on the head. For me, it's control, just controlling the situation, controlling the whole room, the client, everything. You just have to, as a director, just be cognizant of everything, right? And just keep cool about it, but also have that control, right? Without being disrespectful to anyone in the crew or the talent or whatever the case is. Just knowing that you're able to take charge when it's needed and keep that in order. You know what I'm saying? And keep everyone working and on schedule. I think that's the most important thing. I think, you know, and as well as having the relationships, you know, that's important. You know, being able to talk to the artist. And for me, the most important thing that I've learned, you know, I'm sure all you guys have to deal with this before. It's like artists always want something, right? This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. I've learned that that's the number one thing for me, the number one secret that I try to tell all the other directors that are coming up. I'm like, look, man, the control is one thing. Figure everything out. Give that artist that one thing they want. They will chill the fuck out for the rest of the day. Give them that one thing, man. They want to fucking jump out the window. They want to try this. Give it to them. And then you say, you know what? That was great. We got it. But not, let's do it my way. They're not going to bother you, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's one tip that I give new guys.
It's never a no.
It's
never a no. It's like, that's a great idea. What if we even try and
right?
Sometimes
it's a
that idea,
collaboration.
Yeah.
Collaboration is really important, man. But as long as you have to remember that you have to be the one in control. Yeah, let's collaborate. I'll do that. Let's try that. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you that. You know, I think one thing for me, one instance was Lil Wayne. We shot God Bless America, and we did that riveting. He just wanted a big flag, man. He just wanted this big ass flag, and he was like, when it drops, I just want a bunch of people behind it. And We did it. He got back in his car because prior Lil Wayne couldn't really shoot in his neighborhood, right? For whatever reasons. So that was special for him to go back and being able to shoot that video. And I remember he got in his car and he was punching the ceiling of his Rolls Royce in excitement, right? Because he got that one thing. Give him that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that artist wants, give him that one thing. Your day's cake after that.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, bro. You guys both did. Like, being a director is being a problem solver. Like, solving issues that come about on set. Because I honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I've never really had a set that's just perfectly like all good, you know? Maybe there's a few that are like, all right, cool, this is a good day. But most of the time, there's just something that happens, something that goes wrong or whatever. And I had an instance too, like you were saying, that one thing, that's very true. Like, I had an artist, he's like, yo, I want this paparazzi scene. I just want paparazzi. That's all I want. That's all he talked about all day from like morning to night. I'm like, all right, we're going to use that paparazzi scene. And he's like, after that, he was cool. He was all good. So I guess the ways or the people to problem solve with are what, like the client, commissioners, crew. And that's the thing that sucks is like, as a director, you want to do something, but then there's so many other people to take care of, right? Your crew's like, yo, they're fucking complaining because they haven't eaten or whatever. Or like, if you have to do a meal penalty or, your artist is tired or late. I don't know. There's just so many things to balance. So I think problem solving is like super crucial as a director, just as crucial as being a creative. If you're creative, that's dope. But if you can't solve those problems, you're not even going to be able to execute a vision. And I think that's something like special that music video directors have, is that you're doing so much in a condensed amount of time that you kind of develop a skill that a lot of narrative filmmakers might not have.
We're special for that, man.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We're special.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of juggling. Man, there's what the label wants. And I've had labels come to me and be like, hey, listen, I know that MC so-and-so says this, but we really want to do this, so let's make sure. And I'm like, oh, word. And then the artist is like, you know what? I know what the label said, but I really want this. And I really want to be like this. You know what I'm saying? And then there's what you want. And then if you've done research on this artist, you kind of know what they need too at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a juggling match. At the end of the day, how can you make everyone happy? How can you give them what they need, what they want, and what you wanted to accomplish at the same time, right? And knowing at the end of the day that you did that and you accomplished that without saying anything or making an announcement that you did that, you just can see everyone being happy. You know what I mean? And that's when you know that you've done something. And then there's who you're actually doing it for. And that's for everyone that's going to be watching this and viewing it, right? And what are you going to get from that? What are they going to say? And how many views is that going to get? And it's not even just about the views. To me, it's never really been about the views. It's more so about what people are saying. Like, I've always had some kind of objective with most of the videos. It's like, what's my objective here? What questions do I want to ask? And what dialogue do I want to strike up? And so that's what I think. Now I want to get into this because I've looked at my DMs. It's slowed down now, but I remember people used to always talk about this place. And then a lot of directors used to come along when they came along, and the 5D came along, and the DSLRs and the standards changed a little bit. Directors would be like, "Yeah, I'm coming for your spot, man." So I'm coming for your spot, man. And I'm like, "What spot? What are you talking about?" Right? But there's this competitive spirit out there in this competitive industry, right? How have you not only survived, but how have you excelled?
How do you excel, or how
have you excelled? How have you excelled in this competitive industry?
I think it's just creating things that make you want it. Like, for example, there's so many directors out there who have different styles, right? There's like, I don't know if you guys heard directors like Brother or Brothers or whatever, where they do like really abstract visuals. Then there's like Cole Bennett, who's doing like, like the graphics and I like all these people's work because it's so unique. That's why like people go to him, because they want like a certain look, or people go to you guys. Like, there's just like a certain thing that each one of us brings. So I don't really know, like, for me, I put my client first no matter what. And like, I'm sure obviously you guys do too, but I really try to stick to that and just always try to come up with something unique. Like, even if it's like, yo, I want a bunch of girls at this pool party. I want this, like, how can we do something a little different to make it at least a little bit more like edgy, or give it like that one thing that's like a talking point, So.
Man, going back to that, right? Those DMs and shit, the people coming for your spot and whatnot.
I saw you laugh.
You laugh at that shit, man. It's like, yo, what are you talking about, right? I think, like, to your point, you were saying everyone has their own style. I think for me, when I first came in, you know, I was going with a style, and I don't know if you guys are guilty of this, but there was a time on my path that I thought maybe, okay, they doing that now, let me try that, or let me do the fast Kino shit, or whatever, the fast jittery shit, or whatever the case was. And then I just realized, man, let me just stick to my own shit, you know, and I stuck with it, man. And I
Fast
think
Kino. You said fast Kino shit?
you know, the fast blinking lights and all this crazy
You
shit,
know.
all the jittery shit, you know, and fast cuts, whatever. I think it's all a learning process, right? And I think that what's important is that you know, each of us as an artist, right? And you have to take time out and stop smelling your own shit and look at what everyone else is doing, because there are people out there that are doing amazing shit. They just don't have the platform, or whatever the case is. So I think, you know, that for me is humbling, looking at commercials and whatnot, what this guy's on there, and it's just like, wow, like this is amazing shit, right? And that's just it, man. They just keep growing, man. And I think these guys that are coming in and I'm going for your spot, man. It's just like, you know, for me, it's like, you know what? I see you now. I want to see you in 5 years. And most of the time they disappear. They don't know how to manage the relationships and the structures of things and so on. So,
And they may not be in it for the right reason too, you know, like
yeah,
you're
no,
not
if
coming
you're
in to
at
like,
me like that, then
yeah,
I mean,
like,
what's some of these directors with rapper names now? I'm like, wait, what? You got?
yo, for real.
I'm like, I don't get it. Or like names like, you
No,
know,
it'll be like,
or they keep relating cameras to guns. I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like bang bang or whatever. I'm like, yo, what? Like, it's getting crazy. I'm like, let rappers be rappers, directors be directors. It's a humble job. Like, be humble about it. You know what I'm saying? So, favorite city / location to shoot in.
Do you want me to answer? Can I answer that?
Oh yeah, answer the question. Yeah, my bad.
The other one that we were talking about, just in terms of people taking your shot, I've had an interesting situation with that, because when I moved out to LA, I was grinding independently for about 8 years on my own and got known as like that creative director that never had a hit song. And then once I finally got that hit song, it exploded, and then they keep coming. And I'm like, oh, we love Ethan. What's tricky about, I think, in everyone in life in general, is that we all have our own timeline. And I think especially when we're so competitive, we're like, whoa, who got that job? All right, well, that's kind of a step of where I want to go. And I think it's important as a director to also have compassion in yourself, to be like, this is my timeline. And I've seen cats that were behind me get ahead of me. I've seen guys that were ahead of me get behind me. And I need to also stick to what I'm good at, finding my brand, finding what's good with me, and sticking to that, and nurturing that, rather than watering myself down with lots of different things to be open to. I'm the type of person that's like, what's the budget? I don't say no to jobs based off budget. It's about how it all works, because I want to do stuff creatively. And I'm also the first one to be like, I got this crew of young directors that maybe would be a great fit for this. Can I connect you guys? And then you see them take that opportunity and parlay it into 5 years, and now you just.
Any director ever scared you where you was like, oh?
Did ever what?
Any director ever scared you where you got a call like, hey, can you get down here? Can you get down here right now? Yeah, things
from
are.
the
Yeah,
shoots? No, because I'm clear with everyone. I'm like, this is the director, and I'm not. It's not my company. I'm not handing out. I'm connecting these dots. If you have any questions,
right away, Ethan. Right away, right now.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I'm not vouching for what's going on set, but I think he's a good guy. Look at his reel.
Right.
Connect you guys.
Oh, you got lucky. Okay.
I find my the opportunity to give to someone, and they have to deliver on their own.
but you were saying too, like getting ahead, like that's so subjective. I feel like too, like what does it mean to be like ahead? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it you've done like 3 really big videos, like, oh, I have a Bieber video, this, that, or like 1 really big video, or
The
like
definition
5
is all in here for everybody.
Yeah, like what does that mean to be like ahead? You know?
yeah, what's your goals? What's the end game? You know, what's the end game? You know what I'm saying? I think all of us as directors just want to grow and eventually do features. You know, I think those are the steps, right? Music videos and into commercials, then into features, and then you hope that you do something that's successful enough to continue on, right? Or do TV. You know, it's 2 different things: TV and film. And
Bro, haven't you guys? Sorry to interrupt, but like you're saying that I'm tripping. Like I've seen like you see directors out of nowhere, right? They do like 1 like short that gets submitted to a festival. All of a sudden they're doing fucking like a superhero movie or something. Like, do you ever wonder like just taking a step back and be like, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just put 1,000% of my energy into just this one thing. You know what I mean? Because
it's different careers. It's different. You know, none of us have had identical journeys, They're all different. And some people will have different relationships, different things happen for them. They're in the right place at the right time. I've been in a lot of situations where I was like, wow, how did I get that? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it just came about and it was just right for me. And I was in the right place at the right time. You know what I mean? And by the way, you came out of nowhere. You're the youngest of us, right? And you came out of nowhere. But thank you for doing a good job. Because if you hadn't done a good job, you definitely wouldn't be sitting amongst us.
Y'all are legends, bro.
Us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little rookie.
But thank you, man. Thank you. You've done a good job. You've set a very good example for the next generation. So we're going to wrap this up with one more question. And once again, I want to thank all you guys for being here. And I want to ask you guys this. You know what? Not the what city, location. We're not going to do that. You know what? As a matter of fact, I've been picking them. No. On the next generation. You just pick. Got 10 seconds. 10.
No, I gotta pick a good one.
Okay.
Because some of these are very generic.
Uh-oh.
No, we already talked about this one.
See if you come back on the show.
Hold on, I have a good one here. I have a pretty good one here. Hold up. We talked about this. I got two good ones. Can you
like
do
you,
one?
man. Yeah,
like
like
two
you.
good ones?
Sure.
You're right.
Hold on. No, I'm telling you, these are good though.
He's like,
Some of these are
sure.
some of these are fun. Some of
We
these
got
are
one.
funny.
We got one. You got to pick one.
Here. This one's good. It's very it's deep. I'll read it. How important is it knowing other aspects other than just directing for your work?
I didn't even understand that question. What was
Yeah.
that?
Like basically like what other aspects are important besides just directing, like that affect your work, you know?
I mean, I'm very post heavy. Like a lot of the stuff and I edit almost the majority of the stuff that I shoot. And I think when it comes to like epic things and insane things, I've tried a lot of stuff visually where we're printing things on paper and creating collages and animation and jump cut. And some of the stuff, we do a little time to have a test, but a lot of time you're like, yeah, this will totally work out. And we'll shoot it. And sometimes you don't know until it actually happens. So I think for me as a director, especially when we're trying to shoot so much in a short amount of time, having that post knowledge helps me know what I need so that I can make the decision as to when to move on, when I can combine shots that I may not need, when it's hard, but you're like, I need to trim the fat and I just don't need this to make my day. So I think it's, I started off and I was shooting, directing, and producing and editing my own stuff. And we're talking about, which we probably all were doing. So I think it's good to have that knowledge so that you can understand what other people, do for their jobs. But at the same time, as a director, you're able to take a step back, surround yourself with a good team and delegate and have your DP and have your team and trust them.
Right. I'm going to say for me, it's psychology is one of them. When I start writing music videos, I get like a lot of narratives and stuff. I started thinking about what we're going through just globally, like what we're going through and how we're feeling. Like, for example, I guess when it comes to like relationships, right? I want to like ask certain questions, something that I know that we've all been through, have all felt before. And I usually go from the side of like the victim or person that feels like they've been victimized and like what they were going through, what they were thinking, and then how to tell that story. And so I'm like a nonlinear director. So I like to start from over here, right? And then you think it's going another direction, and then I hit you from over here. You know what I'm saying? And I hit you from over here or whatever it is. I start to think about different stories that people are telling, and then really telling stories that feel like real life. Real life's not always about happy endings. Real life's not always about like, sad endings either. Sometimes it could be in between. I just recently wrote a treatment. I haven't written a treatment in a while. I wrote a treatment recently where the video ends with absolutely nothing. And it's just about paranoia, right? And like the art of paranoia and how it feels. And so I'm driving things, making you think that something's going to happen, nothing. And you're like, oh, well, you feel like there was no payoff, but that's how things feel. Sometimes it's not just about the dip, or it's not about the tragedy. It's just about, leading up to that moment. Sometimes we're not at Z, we're at H. You know what I'm saying? And what does that look like? How does that feel? So that's one. And then photography, respect for architecture, right? Like when an architect builds something, there's a reason why they built it like that. And so I try to have respect for the architecture. So a lot of times it comes off as like, man, he shoots so straight on. All the lines are like, the horizon lines, and like, they're all like lining up like perfectly. You know what I mean? That's because I have a respect for architecture. And that's just a thing that I have. I feel like I want to show the architect that I understand what they were going through. So.
Yeah, I mean, you guys made valid points. I think for me, no, having other aspects, knowing other aspects, like I edit all my own stuff. Every now and then, if I got time, I'll color. But also, just knowing your surroundings, wherever you're gonna shoot, right? For me, it's just knowing knowing the culture, knowing what it is, knowing the background of this artist or where he comes from, so that you can relate and just makes your job a lot easier, man. Just do some research, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically it, man. On my end, is try to gather as much information of where you're shooting, the neighborhoods, the culture, the vibes, the artists you're dealing with, and it just makes your job a lot easier when you're explaining to the people in your crew that may not know, may not be from that background or whatever the case is. So that that for me is what it is, man. Just learning everything about the job.
We'll wrap this up with a toast. Toast to being some of the luckiest men
Cheers,
in the
man.
world.
Cheers, guys.
Toast to a creative life. This is Board of Directors. I am Taj.
Shout out Stillhouse.
Here with some amazing directors, and thank you for watching. And see you next time.
Yes, sir. Peace.